Street Museum, episode number 2.
Yes, sir.
And we got special guest.
Yes, sir.
The great Don B. So I'm not going to say too much. I would love for you to introduce yourself to the people.
Well, I go by Don B. My government name is Don Bartholomew. I'm the son of the legendary great Dave Bartholomew, songwriter, Hall of Famer, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, I should say, Grammy Lifetime Award Achievement, Songwriters Hall of Famer, Blues Hall of Famer, Pioneer R&B Hall of Famer, you name it, he's covered everything in the map. So yeah, that was my dad, man. I just always wanted to be like my dad. Was blood into this music, and that's who I am, you know.
So as it relates to making your mark within music, what approach did you kind of take to make your own kind of lane, understanding your father and his greatness, but like what direction you took to kind of make your lane and your mark?
Well, obviously we several years apart. So the first thing was the music is different. So when I was a teenager, the music had just started on, what rap music had just really hit the nation. And obviously in New Orleans we started our own sound, which is bounce music. And so just me being myself, I just took it upon, and instead of being Don Bartholomew, I started being Don B. That was my alias for myself, because I wanted to make my own name. So that's if I had to say anything, that's what I did. I took on my own role, took on my own. I didn't want people to know that I was my dad, because I didn't want people to just give me a leeway, oh, that's Dave's son, just give him a pass. I wanted to earn my pass. And so that's how I became the alias cat, Don B. And yeah, so like I said, and at that time, so it was R&B, bounce music, you know, rap music was taken by storm in the 80s. So that was my era of being a teenager, and so yeah, that's what it was.
What are some of the notable artists you worked with in the past?
Man, shit, the list goes on and on. I done worked with probably every artist from New Orleans, from rap artists to, you know what I'm saying, brass band artists. But just to name a few, man, some of the first artists I started with was Lil Wayne, BG, Soulja Slim. As a matter of fact, I call them the trifecta because I was the first guy that recorded them professionally. So I did the BGs, it was the BGs. It was Lil Wayne and BG together. I was blessed to record that first album. Baby and Slim came to my studio, and I was blessed to record that album. And then just by the way, I was blessed to have Soulja Slim come by, and I knew Travis real well, which was Warren May's brother. And he was putting Soulja Slim out at the time, him and a guy named Will. And yeah, man, so I was blessed to do those guys first before anybody even knew who they were. Matter of fact, he was Magnolia Slim when I recorded him. And man, just the list goes on and on. I worked with some of the greatest producers in the world, like Manny Fresh, KLC, Big Frida. I worked with, you know, even some of today's people. You know what I'm saying? So it goes on, like I said, from the 80s to the present day. So we could be talking over and over about who the people I recorded and worked with in the music business. You know what I'm saying? And all of them not local, but you know, there's been a lot of great people that I've recorded from New Orleans.
How is it like understanding the history you got with like a BG or Lil Wayne? How is it like seeing them be who they are now today, knowing that you was a part of like the very beginning stages of their career, like seeing them grow into who they are today?
Well, to be honest with you, man, I always knew just certain people that you record or certain people that you be around, you can tell their demeanor. I always knew that Lil Wayne was gonna be who he was. I always knew that BG was gonna be who he was, because they was really forceful, and they wanted to be somebody. You can tell they wanted to be separate from everything else somebody else was doing. And yeah, they just little kids, man. It was just kids, you know what I'm saying? But it was kids, but they was 16, 17 at the time. You know, we're talking about, one was like 10, the other was like 12, 13 years old. It was like ahead of their time, but they caught up to their time. And, you know, it shows today, you know, the great who are. And then I used to always have these talks with Baby, man, like early on. And he used to always tell me, he said, see that little boy right there? He gonna be great. He used to be talking about Lil Wayne. And Lil Wayne used to be about this tall with a pick in his head, with a big bush. He's always said, man, that dude right there, he gonna be big. And he believed in it from the start. And I think that's very important when you have somebody, executive producer or a record label that really believes in you. They help you with your craft. They believe in you. So no telling how far you can take it when somebody believes in you. You believe in yourself and somebody else believes in you, you go a long way in this world, bro.
So, real quick, switch some gears with brother Dave Bartholomew, your father.
Yeah.
What are some of the standout artists that you know of him working with that stood out to you?
Well, it's so funny that you say that, man, because, growing up, I didn't really realize who my dad was till I was like 10. But I would always see these people by my mama's house. You know what I'm saying? Like B.B. King, Fats Domino, all these great people that I've learned, later on in life who they were. But I mean, my daddy, man, was the baby face producer of that era. You know what I'm saying? So he was the Teddy Riley of that era. So he was recording everybody, from Fats Domino to Elvis Presley, Chuck Berry. You know what I'm saying? My daddy wrote some of the most iconic, biggest songs in the world today, as of today. You know what I'm saying? So it's just crazy, man. That he just happened to be my dad.
What are some of the characteristics and qualities that your father instilled in you that you value the most, so that you kind of carry with you to this day?
You know what one of the most things that stick out about my dad, man, it was always being professional. Be professional no matter what the situation is. Always be on time. Like that is like crucial to him. He believed if you're 15 minutes early, you're late. You're late. I remember him telling me one time, he used to say, man, you gotta be where you're supposed to be at least 30 minutes before, because you could get a flat, you can get an accident, just anything could happen, And he used to preach, and then when you're younger, man, I don't hear all that. I don't hear all that. But really, as you get older and I mature and I understand, like, damn, he was giving me a bunch of jewels, you know what I'm saying? And stuff that really just carry on through life. So I think that was the most important thing about him, man, was about being on time, being professional, and then being attentive of your work. If you're doing your work, do your work. Don't let nobody sidetrack you.
Right.
Do what you gotta do.
It was a story you told me before about how the industry tried to kind of paint a certain picture towards your father, like boxing into a certain image, lane. Can you speak a little bit about how your father felt in terms of his pushback against what the industry was trying to do to him?
Well, keep in mind, so we talking about like when my dad really became this industry producer, known, writing all these hits and making big hits. He was a black man in the 40s and the 50s doing this. And he was a black man that was smart, because he knew that royalties was the thing to have. Most of our people didn't know about, I guess I could say most of our people at that time was uneducated about royalties in music. My daddy wasn't. He had somebody to tell him about it. Right. So that was the thing that kind of keep him out of the box. He was like, oh man, this man knows too much. It's almost like in the 1800s where they say, this black man could read. We ain't supposed to read. You know what I'm saying? We're supposed to be ignorant. We're supposed to be arrogant to that. So the time when my daddy was doing all that, it was like, damn, well, how do we know about royalties? How do we know about this? How do we know about that? And then my daddy was the type of man that educate other guys about it, like Allen Toussaint and the Neville brothers, and all these great people that's from New Orleans. He would tell them, look, man, this is how you get your money. Music is all about having mailbox money. It ain't just about performing all the time. You know what I'm saying? We love the art, but we want to get paid with the art. You don't always want to be doing the art and somebody else making money off it. So he was a very strategic businessman. So yeah, that's what I would say.
So with that being said, he could have, in a lot of cases, he could have been a threat to how the industry wanted the flow and operation as it relates to like an artist-executive relationship. He was a threat to that system of ignorance.
Absolutely was a threat, because he was a black man. Part black, that's all it was. A black man that wrote all these great songs. You couldn't be denied, because people loved it. Whether you was white or black, people loved the songs. People loved Fats Domino. I don't, there's a lot of people in New Orleans as of today, they should know how iconic Fats Domino was. One of the biggest artists in the world. You know what I'm saying? But us as our people in New Orleans, we don't really realize that because we're not carrying on that part of that history. But he was one of the biggest artists in the world. So if he's one of the biggest artists in the world, who's the man behind all this? Who's writing these songs? Who's producing these songs? So yeah, it's actually a threat because when you become a threat financially, you don't need them no more. Because Fats and Dave, if they had the money, just think if they would have put themselves out, or they would have been independent like we do today, they would be 5-6 times billionaires.
Yeah.
Right now, you know what I'm saying?
For sure. So when it comes to the brother Dave, what are some of the most richest memories that you have of your father in terms of just him being around the music industry, and you kind of seeing what he's doing and who he interacting with? What are some of the memories that stuck with you through the time?
I think, man, I've been around some of the biggest artists in the world, like literally, like from Whitney Houston to Neil Simon, like big artists. And what I always found that when my father was in sessions with him, when I was with him, a little boy with him, he always had respect. No matter how big the artist is, and man, they respected him, he respected them, and it was a level of achievement. They always just wanted to be great. So I realized that if you want respect, you got to get respect, no matter who a person is, and from a big artist to the biggest artist, you know. So yeah, I think he did just being around him, man, he demanded respect, respect his work, his ethics, and I think that was one of the biggest things. And I think that is one of the biggest things in life, you know.
If you could tell the people the story about your father breaking down the importance of education.
Oh man, yeah, believe it or not, my dad didn't want none of his kids to be involved with music because you got to keep understanding when he came up, music was just it was a hard thing for him to succeed in. He's probably in his era one of the very few people that made it like him. So he always felt like education was the way out. Like nobody can stop you if you educated, whether you want to be a doctor, lawyer, you know, whatever. Just to name a few. But he just felt like not just being intelligent, just being an intelligent person, but being book smart as well. And like he used to say, you need that piece of paper, which was a diploma. He always believed in that. He always believed in you know, that gives you access to more things in the world. You know what I'm saying? People look at you different when you educated from a non-educated person. People just respect you more. And like I said, it goes back to the respect thing. You know.
So what are some of the projects, initiatives you got going on right now as it relates to the music culture here in New Orleans today?
Well, I got my hands on a whole lot of things, man. I got film projects and I got records that I'm working on. So I have a few artists myself. All of them are from New Orleans. So I try to, in some ways, I try to make sure I keep the New Orleans sound. And some of the music, some are bounce artists, some are R&B artists, some are just rap artists, street rap artists. But what I do is I try to keep the New Orleans sound involved in all the music that I do with that. As far as films, I'm doing a film right now. It's called Sugar Cane. I'm actually just doing a trailer, and then I'm gonna shop it. But I'm doing a trailer. It's about how my daddy found Fats Domino, and basically they created rock and roll, right? You know, and I'm gonna sum it all up in like 3.5 minutes, and then shop it. So that's what we're working on right now. How everything was really just created here in this neighborhood in Tremé. You know, my daddy had a house around the corner on Murray Street. So I grew up around here, like if you can see, you know what I'm saying? So the Tremé was everything. Like it's just impeccable. You know what I'm saying? The neighborhood, man. You know?
Do you have any specific projects around like giving artists opportunities, like showcases you organize?
Oh yeah, I always. I partnered up with I say the most cultural club here in the city. As far as live music, I partnered up with Tipper Tinas. So we do like 4 concerts a year. So I do like every 3 months. I do a showcase where I bring on artists that's known and also artists that's trying to be known. So I give a lot of people opportunity, whether it's rap music, R&B music, jazz music, bounce music. I give people a lot of opportunities to be heard. And my only thing is I just tell people, be ready. You know, be ready when it's your time, because you don't know when the time comes. You know.
Do you see yourself following your pop's footsteps in terms of the process of developing artists and getting them stage ready and industry ready, and that part of the process, like the development side? Do you?
Well, I used to. I used to do that a lot when I was much younger. Now, really not so much. I mean, with my record label, I have people that do that. I trust in them, and you know, to pick the right artist and think this is a great investment for us to put our time and money into. But I used to when I was much younger. Yeah. Right now, I kind of like the world is a little different at this point. You kind of meet people. So many people work on their own now. With everybody think they got a studio because they got a laptop, and they in front of Instagram or Facebook, whatever. You know, they think they're in front. You know, what you are in front of the world at this point. But that doesn't mean you have an actual studio. That doesn't mean you need to be worked on your craft. So I'm so, you know, different things that I'm doing. I'm busy doing so many things, so I don't really have time to really A&R somebody on an everyday basis. I'm into right now. I'm into the point where I want to meet people that's ready.
How important is for artists to kind of be ready? How important it is for artists to develop themselves enough to what like they consider ready?
That's all it is now. If you ain't ready, you ain't ready.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's what the whole industry. I mean, even if you look at these major record labels, they only signing people and giving people a shot that's doing something on their own already.
Right.
You know, you know, the proof is in the pudding. If you ain't selling no units, they don't want to put their money involved with you. You know what I'm saying? So being ready is just being ready. And I don't think that's just in the music business. I think that's in every aspect of life. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? You got to be ready. If you get a new job, you got to be ready. You know, even if you apply for a job 5-6 months ago and all of a sudden they call you and it's a good job that you wanted, but you ain't really ready to be getting up that time in the morning to go to the job. You know, you got to be ready.
Right. So with that being said, what are some of your future goals or visions in terms of New Orleans music, the sound, and just the landscape of like the music culture and community? Like what do you see in the near future for like up and coming artists and just the music landscape?
Well, my thing is about New Orleans music, man, is at this part, I feel like everybody gets paid, like really paid off New Orleans music except for New Orleans artists. And that's because they're not educated on it. You know, I was fortunate that I came up in a household I came in, so I know. You know what I'm saying? Maybe if I didn't come up like that, I probably wouldn't know. I probably wouldn't care. A lot of these cats, man, they so get caught up into wanting to be a neighborhood superstar. Next thing you know, your record is in rotation on cue, and then the next thing you know, you're playing in Houston, Alabama, and the next thing you know, now you're playing out, in California, you're in New York, but you don't know nothing about business. So everything, all the money, somebody else that made all the money now. So my thing is, most important thing for me to do with New Orleans artists right now is to kind of like educate them on about business. It's called music business. Like, I was just making music. And then unfortunately, a lot of people don't get that until it's too late. And then they're mad. You can't get mad. Do your homework. Somebody getting paid somewhere. Why not be you? Off of your own craft. You know, so that's my thing, man. I like to as I'm doing this, I like to keep people educated on how to make some money. You can love the art all day, but you still want to make some money. So
do you think, to that point, you think there's enough of like educationally rooted programming to educate artists in today's generation of music in New Orleans?
No, not at all. I don't even know who have one. Catering to, let's just keep it real. Catering to a young black men, young black women. Who got that? They teaching band, like the roots of music, and they teaching, they teaching all that, how to play an instrument, but who's teaching business? So why we gotta wait till we 21, 25 years old to learn about business? and you didn't have a hit record when you was 18. Somebody got to teach about business at some point. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And then when you meet somebody like myself, you don't mind spreading the knowledge to somebody else, and it's supposed to be like a domino effect. Man, go learn this. You know what I'm saying? You're sitting there learning Roblox all day. Go learn how to make some money.
Right. Each one teach one. You know?
Yeah, absolutely.
So how can we like develop opportunities to kind of build that out?
Workshops.
What are some ideas you have?
Workshops. You gotta get if parents are buying their kids laptops and believe that they want to be into producing whatnot, you gotta have workshops. You gotta talk to the parents like, look, this is more than just your child jumping on a laptop and learning how to do Pro Tools or Fruity Loops and programming music. You know, it's more than that, because your child could very well come up with something that might be a hit, and then you're gonna be looking crazy when you're getting the check. You know, and I'm not saying, you know, you can't make all the money, but just make some of the money.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Have a seat at the table.
Yeah, that's all. Just, you know, you want a little piece of the pie.
Real quick,
Hmm?
your father was a very well-dressed individual.
Mm-hmm.
You know, what are one of the stories you have as it relates to his era of dress versus your era, our era of dress? Like,
Oh, well, I think I want to say when my dad was real popular, like, you know, the late 40s and 50s doing this producing thing. I think that was the thing for blacks then. They wanted to be well dressed. You know, if you look back at even when they produce these movies today, you see everybody's well dressed, from the women to the men. You don't see anybody not dressed. Everybody have suits on. Everybody got their hair right. You know, we was a proud race of how we carry ourselves. And then I think when we got to the 80s, we started with the airbrushing and drawing on stuff and just being more creative. I don't think it's anything different. We just was being creative in our own way. And then we get to the 90s when we just sagging and you got your ass out. Like, just keep it real. You know, people feel like I think a lot of people feel like a domino effect. Hey, bro, if you're gonna wear his ass out, I gotta wear mine out. You know, I gotta be sagging too. You don't have to do nothing nobody else do. And then it becomes a trend. Next thing you know, you got your pants to your knees, like, you know what I'm saying? Where to the effect where you get on another man there, like, what's wrong with him?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So you lose a sense of pride in being who you are, and when I say who you are, I mean us as a people. You lose a sense of pride, and you're like, damn, why we went from wearing tailored suits to looking like, you know what I'm saying, like, I don't even know what the word to use, just looking like shit. You know what I'm saying? How we go there? And I'm gonna give you a quick example. When I got the proclamation a couple of weeks ago for the hip hop from the city of New Orleans, they had a bunch of us coming out in 50 years of hip hop. I was the only guy that had a suit on. Only guy had a suit, and I knew going there I was gonna be the only guy with a suit on. But that ain't why I wore a suit. I wore a suit because that's how we brought up. Dress for the occasion. You feel what I'm saying? Not to say none of them guys wasn't brought up like that, but that was instilled in me. You dress for the occasion. You know what I'm saying? And it was so funny because Kilo came up to me. Kilo said, "Boy, you look like you running for mayor." Right, I ain't running for mayor. I'm just dressed for the occasion. You know what I'm saying? But I say that to see that other people will see that and be like, damn, well, maybe next time I come to do this, maybe I should draw a suit on. Or maybe I should draw on a coat. You know, so it's just different. I ain't trying to say like I'm better than nobody else. It's just when you brought up different, just because it's hip hop, I mean you have to be hip hopish. You got to represent.
Right.
You know,
represent yourself before you represent hip hop.
Yeah, you still got to be yourself. Right. You know what I'm saying?
Top 5 artists across the board. It don't matter the genre, just West Dime B's top 5 artists.
My daddy. Because if you ever really watch my dad as a performer, do some research on it. My dad. Of course, Michael Jackson. Today, gotta be Beyonce. We talking about performing now. I said New Edition. And I might have one more, right? Dirty Fresh.
That's a solid list, man. I can't push back on that. You know? So we at the end of our interview, man. If there's like any lasting words you want to give the up and coming artists of the city of New Orleans, or just from anywhere in the world that's trying to pursue a career in music, and you had like one piece of advice that they could use that would kind of help them on that journey, what would it be?
It's just one word: education. Education. Can't go wrong. Educate yourself. Read a book. Read books. It's knowledge. Knowledge is everything. And that could be the other word. Knowledge. You have to educate yourself. You gotta learn the programs, so learn the business. You know what I'm saying? Educate yourself. People from New Orleans, cultural, keep the culture going. Educate yourself. We even got to educate ourselves about the culture. Like Dominique, somebody keeping it going.
Right.
She found enough, but just her father passed. Just think if she wouldn't have carried on what her father's doing. Drop the ball. How you gonna do that?
Right.
You got people that's coming after her. They need to know this. Where this come from? This you look around here, man. This is a lot of hard work. This is work, and we walk through here in 10, 15 minutes, and we look. Boy, this is years of work. That you gotta respect this.
Right.
Just putting all this on a wall take time. No less talking about putting it, packaging it up. It's all this. If this is education. And if you're from New Orleans, you should walk in here and be proud. Like, damn.
Right.
Whether you know how to do that or not, you should be proud. Damn. He preserved all this so I could be this.
What if people could follow you at on social media, man? Like, let the
Man, I'm
people
on
know.
Instagram. I'm at Don Lewis Beat. That's my real name, actually. My real name is Don Lewis. That's my whole first name. I don't know why my mama gave me two first names. I answer that all the time. She said that was somebody, a DJ name that was popular back then. Well, I got two first names. But anyway. Yeah, man, Don Lewis Beat. You can follow me on Instagram, on Facebook. I'm at Don Bartholomew. I only have a Twitter. Really, that's the only two socials that I'm on. You can catch me.
You got any events or functions coming up in the near future?
Yeah, I got the Day of Bartholomew Culture Experience. It's gonna be the second annual one. I started it last year. It's gonna be April 13th at Tipitina's. It's the French Quarter Festival weekend. It's that Saturday night. And man, we got some. We're excited about it. It's gonna be released next week on Tipitina's on the website and everything. We got some great artists that perform. We got like Deacon John, Kermit Ruffin, man, just to name a few. John Boutte, Gerald French. We got a lot of great artists from New Orleans that's gonna be representing for my dad. So David Time Culture Experience is all about reinventing some of the songs that my dad did with Fast Domino, Elvis Presley, all these different people, and they just doing it their way. So we want to keep the culture and the music alive.
Gotcha.
So I'm gonna do that. I'm doing it every year, once a year, to keep his legacy going.
All right.
Yeah, so April 13th, man.
There you have it, you guys. Don Bartholomew, y'all make some noise.